The second meeting, preparation for fighting. The British Under-Secretary of Defense discussed an aircraft sale. It was not accidental that the third important man here was the personal representative of King Faisal. Saudi Arabia pays many of Egypt's bills. By the end of the evening, Sadat had purchased British helicopters. No matter how late his visitors ever left, he ended his evenings by sitting and watching a movie. Much of Sadat's time is devoted to ceremony. On this night, the swearing in of a new cabinet. There were no changes which marked a shift in policy. The business of fealty over, Sadat chaired a cabinet meeting. Sadat does not like detail and confines himself to broad directives. The issue here was galloping inflation and the need to reconstruct a staggering economy. Nowhere is reconstruction needed more than in the Suez Canal area. During our stay, we accompanied the president on what he called a reconstruction visit to the canal. Sadat does not travel to learn the hard facts. Those he can gather at home. The trip was intended to raise morale. It did. There was adulation everywhere, but nowhere more fervent than during a cruise in the harbor which finally led up the canal itself. The more effort Egypt puts into building here, the more encouraged are the Israelis.
If he reconstructs the canal area and opens the canal and puts hundreds of thousands of people back there, that indicates that he's not going to be very anxious to get them bombed out again. That's therefore a great index of whether he sees the peaceful option is available. And in the measure that he is putting people back in the canal and preparing to open it, that is a promising sign, an indication that the disengagement agreement is not simply a passing episode, but a possible step leading towards an unfreezing of the conflict.
During our stay with Sadat, he left the country only once to attend the Arab Summit meeting in Morocco. There, he was one of 20 Arab leaders, albeit a major one. He and King Faisal represent the Arab moderates. There were others there, less accommodating. At his borrowed villa outside Rabat, he tackled immediately the summit's #1 issue. How should the battle between King Hussein of Jordan and the Palestinians be resolved? Hussein and the Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat came to pay court. Hussein wanted to speak for Palestinians inside Jordan. Arafat wanted to speak for Palestinians living everywhere.
You see, we are cooperating together. And as we have mentioned, there are 3 partners: Egyptians, Syrians, and the Palestinians.
The summit voted for Arafat, which was a defeat for Hussein and not the compromise Sadat would have preferred. Sadat did have the power to stop a Syrian move which would have aborted the American peace initiative in the Middle East. In a moment, we'll ask the president how the region has changed since the heads of state met.
Sadat, Action Biography, will continue after this message.
Now here's our next guest, Mr. Joe Dayton. You've got just 2 minutes to tell us what Mr. Dayton does.
Oh, my. Mr. Dayton, have you and I ever done a show together?
No.
Oh, pity. Would you like to?
Yes.
Sir, are you involved in politics?
Well, I'm on the school board.
Are you in the academic world, then?
No.
Could you get my alimony reduced?
No, but our guest works with lawyers, as well as accountants and other professionals. Panel, you've got about 1.5 minutes.
Well, Mr. Dayton, you look very professional. Is there some special training that you need for what you do?
Yes.
Do you deal in services?
Yes.
Do businesses use your service?
Mm-hmm. Often.
Could I?
I'd like you to.
Oh, well, why don't you leave your address? Is there a product involved?
Well, our guest probably handles more specialized products than anyone else in his field.
I know.
But They're all part of his service.
Do you concern yourself with people's health?
Yes.
Would you ever consult with other professionals in your field?
Oh, yes. I may call specialists in if there's a tough problem. I have many available to me.
You're a doctor?
No.
Mr. Dayton, if I came to see you, is it possible my family could be better off financially?
Yes.
I knew he knew about money. You're a stockbroker.
No.
A banker?
No, but I help people with money problems.
Time's up, panel. Mr. Dayton is an insurance expert.
And with all those specialists and products, you must be one of a kind.
Well, Aetna Life and Casualty has life division agents like him all over the country. If you need life or health insurance, estate planning, variable annuities, mutual funds, or almost anything else, they're the people to see for action.
You got action with Aetna, right?
President Sadat, the new element in the Middle East debate is the rise of the Palestinian Liberation Organization to represent the Palestinian people. Now, Mr. Arafat has said he is in favor of a Palestinian state containing a Jewish minority, but that would mean the dissolution of Israel. You've indicated that you're willing to accept an Israeli state. How do you compose the difference between you and Arafat?
If I am a Palestinian, I should say what Arafat says. It is their problem. But for me, I have stated my views, and the mere acceptance of the resolution 242 means that I accept Israel as a fact.
Sir, in the year since the October War, you and Egypt have gained little else than a minor disengagement on the Sinai. That, I know, is not the accomplishment you expected when the war ended.
Quite right. Quite right. I should have liked that more progress would have taken place, but I am a man of realities. I don't dream. And I hope in the next 3 months, as I told you, we can speed up the momentum of the whole thing.
Are you, as President of Egypt, and is your nation prepared to live in peace with an Israel which does not expand beyond the 1967 borders?
I'm ready for a peace agreement with Israel. And this is valid up till this moment. I said much more than this. Let us do our best to end the state of belligerency that has already taken more than 26 years between the Arabs and the Israelis.
How much pressure is on you, Mr. President? If you didn't have the pressure of the wide variety of opinion in the Arab world on you, would you move faster? Would everything be easier?
I'm ready. I'm ready to move faster. But, my friend, just give me something concrete, and I'm ready this moment to start and work.
Well, what is concrete, if we may look at the very next small step?
You want to know it practical on the ground?
Exactly.
Very well. I may tell you this. Israel must move on all the fronts. On the Egyptian front, the Syrian front, the Jordanian front, the Palestinian front now. But what I can give is this. The end of the state of belligerency that has already taken more than 26 years up till this moment. More than that, I'm going to ask a third party, like the United States. The United States has special relations with Israel. And I consider myself now the friend of the United States. Well, why not the United States come and guarantee both of us?
Has Henry Kissinger let you down in any way over the last year?
Not at all. Not at all. Henry Kissinger has always been up to his word. And President Ford, after he took power also, He has been always up to his word.
If the Americans do not produce for you, if Dr. Kissinger does not produce for you in the near future, will you abandon the United States? And where will that leave you? Or do you have no choice at the moment?
When I started my new chapter with the United States, it was not a policy of the moment or something that I needed for some time and then can drop it. And so I mean, with my new chapter with the United States, that we must keep at least, if it is not the best, the normal relations with the United States, whatever the consequences are.
Well, are you in a position to carry out an offensive, defensive if war breaks out?
If Israel starts it, I have no choice. But I am not planning any offensive. I told you this. I tell you this now, as I told you before, when I was planning the offensive, I said I am planning for the offensive. And you didn't believe me at that time. I think you should believe me now. I'm not planning any offensive. The Arabs are not planning. Syria also is not planning any offensive.
At the beginning of this broadcast, the beginning of the Sadat biography, which we've just seen, Howard K. Smith said that the Americans were lucky to have Anwar Sadat because he was a moderate Arab leader. If there is no peace in a relatively short period of time, is there not a danger that moderates like Anwar Sadat will disappear?
Maybe. 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 Because, you see, our people all over the Arab world are starting to feel frustration. But I think, and I'm sure also, that the United States can play the main role in keeping the momentum and in achieving peace in this area, because, frankly speaking, all the cards are in the hands of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, President Sadat.
Sadat Action Biography was brought to you by Aetna Life and Casualty, America's largest insurance and financial services organization. You get action with Aetna.
Beginning this Monday afternoon, 2 new and exciting game shows join the ABC daytime lineup. Big money rides on the roll of the dice on The Big Showdown with host Jim Peck at 2:30, 1:30 Central. Later, you've got to think fast and move fast to be a winner on The Money Maze, Monday at 4, 3 Central here on ABC.
This has been a presentation of ABC News.